The Wild Robot is one of the most gentle, thoughtful animated films I've seen in a long time. It doesn't rush, it doesn't force anything, it just lets you enjoy the moment. But before we get into today's movie review, this is part of my 25 Days of Christmas movie marathon, where I'll be dropping a new review every single day this month, and today's movie is The Wild Robot, a movie I didn't expect to like as much as I did. This story follows Roz, a robot who ends up stranded on a wild, untouched island. No mission, no programming updates, no guidance, just there. Just existing. And that's part of what makes this movie different or like special in my opinion. It's that instead of turning into this survival story, it's into something deeply emotional. Roz doesn't just learn how to survive, and I don't know if I worded that right, but that's how I wrote it in the script. She learns to live, she learns what compassion is, she learns how to connect to others, and she grows a community from the creatures around her. Not through explanation, but just through experience and being around them. And the animation in this movie is unreal. You can tell there was care in every frame. And while we're on the topic of animation, one thing that really blew me away is how the animation communicates feeling without ever really saying how they feel. And the color palette shifts as Roz grows. Early scenes are colder, sharper, and everything feels unfamiliar. But as she connects with the island, the colors warm, the lighting softens, and even Roz's movements change. She starts stiff and mechanical, but over time her movements become rounder, slower, and more gentle. The animators really show her learning how to care, not just through how she moves. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like a live environment for being animated. Everything from the moss, the water, the leaves, just the texture of the world is so detailed that the island doesn't just look real, it feels like its own character. And maybe this stood out to me even more because I recently watched Arcane for the first time. Another project where the animation isn't just pretty or cool looking, it's part of the story. The animation is used within the story itself, not decoration. The Wild Robot kind of does the same thing, just in a softer and quieter way, if that makes sense. The animation isn't flashy, it's more subtle and just helps carry the story along. And it's done in a way that a lot of movies don't do anymore. But I hope all that made sense. I kind of just rambled on for a minute there. But now I want to kind of talk about the characters, and one of my favorite parts about this movie is the dynamic from like the three main characters, or what I would say is the main three. That would be Roz, Brightbill, and Fink. Their relationship is just so natural. There's no moment where the movie tells you they're becoming a family. It just happens through shared time, small gestures, and just bonding. It's just done very well. But while we're talking about the characters, let's talk about one character, or the main character, which would be Roz, and her character arc. Her arc is honestly probably the single focus of this film. Watching her slowly learn to love, not in a dramatic way, but through patience, presence, and like becoming a mother. It just hit a lot harder than I expected. It's emotional without ever trying to be emotional. You know what I'm saying? And don't even get me started on the cast or the voice acting. The cast has a lot of actors I like, from like Pedro Pascal, who plays Fink. I know he's in everything. People dislike him for it, but I personally just don't have an issue with him. I think he's a great actor. And then you have like Kit Connor, which killed it in Warfare, and he actually does a really good job in this movie as Brightbill. So if you've seen him in Warfare, it's a completely different character, different style, but it's still just a really great performance. And then you have Lupita Nyong'o. I hope I'm saying that right, but she has a bunch of major movies, from movies like Quiet Place and Black Panther movies, even like movies like Us. She just kills it in everything. Oh, and another thing I really appreciated was how the movie uses its silence. It doesn't fill every moment with music or dialogue. Sometimes it just lets the world speak for itself, with like the wind in the background, or the birds, the rustling leaves. For me, I just feel like it helps with like the ambient noise and just setting the mood for the scene. It's just, they do it really well. So I thought that I would point that out. It's not in the script, but I remembered it while reading the script. But I hope you can kind of see where I'm coming from when I'm saying that. And I feel like I say this a lot about whenever I'm going over the things I didn't like about the movie, but again, there isn't much to dislike here, for me personally anyway. I know some people feel like the movie kind of shifts tone halfway through, almost like it's two different movies from the start to finish. It didn't really bother me or anything, and in my opinion, the shift fits the story because Roz's world changes as she grows and changes herself. But I get, pacing wise, it might feel uneven to some people who watch the movie. And I haven't watched a ton of animated movies recently, apart from the show Arcane, but since this is one of the the ones I have seen recently, this is easily one of the best. There's something really refreshing about a movie that isn't trying to be like a big action movie, because I watch a lot of movies, and believe me, there is a lot of bad movies, or like movies I just kind of wasted my time watching. And if you want to see me make some videos on some of the movies I just didn't like, I feel like that could be fun, let me know down below. So this movie really just tries to make you feel something. I like how it's quiet, more thoughtful, and it trusts you to sit in those moments and just let the moment be the moment. It reminded me how some of the movies that just feel slower end up being the ones you rewatch more often. And really quickly, I might bring up something I've talked about before, but I'm gonna add on it, so don't go anywhere. For me, my favorite, or what I like to call the golden moment in my videos, is when the community accepts Roz, not because she helps them, not because she earns it, but because she just belongs and she just kind of fits perfectly right in with the rest of them. It's the moment her arc is completed. She isn't just a robot living in the wilderness. She's part of the family. She's seen by the other characters. She's loved by them now. No big speech, no dramatic music, just an understanding between all of them. You are now one of us. It's just the world acknowledging her. That kind of quiet acceptance hits way harder than a dramatic speech ever could, in my opinion anyway. Overall, I think the movie just trusts that you'll pick up on what's happening even when no one is talking about it. It trusts that the quiet scenes can say just as much as dialogue, and because of that, the emotional moments land harder. The ending doesn't hit because it's dramatic. It hits because the movie gave you the time to understand what Roz gained, what she learned, and now that she actually has something to lose. This movie reminded me that connection takes time. It's built in small moments, shared routines, quiet mornings, and simply being there for somebody. Roz didn't start out knowing how to care, but she learned it by living alongside others and becoming a mother for Bright Bill. And honestly, that's just the heart of the movie. Thank you for joining me in today's review. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. I'll be dropping a new video every single day from the 1st to Christmas for my 25-day movie marathon. Tomorrow's review is a big one, and trust me, you're not gonna want to miss it. In the meantime, feel free to check out yesterday's video if you haven't already. And as always, stay curious and let's keep the conversation going.